Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Maltrud. I'm here today to introduce a temporary provisional crown form. The DC2 crown form is a very versatile crown form that can be utilized in your dental office from anything from a temporary provisional that you're putting onto crown and bridge procedures, or if you need a longer term restoration to get somebody 2, 3, 4 years down the road, you'll still have that crown in place with a nice form and anatomy, and it's very simple to fabricate. The crown shell is a neutral enamel crown shade that allows you to be able to shade the tooth from the inside out. You can also shade the external surfaces of it with any of the fine external shading composites that we have in dentistry. The system can be used with anything from acrylic to bisacryl, and can even be lined with composite if you want it to be a longer term restoration. If we are in need of a temporary and you've started your preparation on a tooth or the cusp is fractured off, this is an ideal restoration to be able to have your assistant pick up a crown form and fabricate a very simple restoration utilizing either bisacryl or acrylic, and they can have that done in a matter of 5 minutes for you. It'll maintain the position of the tooth ideally by having proper interproximal forms and embrasure forms, so that your tooth, as a temporary, is not going to allow the adjacent teeth to move in the time that you're using it as a provisional. The crown forms are fabricated from a heat and pressure cured resin that is proprietary to this product, and allows us the variability that we can add either acrylic or bisacryl or even composite resins to it. The product is a very simple shell that is thin, so that it allows us to use it with limited clearance in a situation where you may be using a gold on layer and overlay. You'll still be able to get this to fit in there quite well without having to shave it down too much. Now, in the mouth, and we'll just consider that this is a human jaw here. Once the tooth is prepared, choose the appropriate crown shell that would fit over the top of the tooth. Once that crown shell is fit, we verify that the patient can close down into it and it has clearance, it's not impinging on the tissues. And then we'll go ahead and activate the internal surface. Generally, sandblasting the internal surfaces will give us better retention, and then painting it with some Bond. Generally, it's a product that you can get from Parkel. But by placing the Bond inside of it, and then whatever lining material you decide to choose, whether it be the acrylic or the bisacryl, you can line the DC2 crown shell with that. Go right directly to the mouth. With the bisacryl application, you're going to draw it out when it's in its rubbery form. If you're fabricating a composite crown shell, if you want a long-term restoration, you're going to be putting composite on the inside of the shell. You can go to more of an extraoral fabrication of the DC2 crown shell. What you would do is you'd have an alginate hydrocolloid impression, and it picks up very fine detail. Once you're done with that, you would pour it up with a vinyl poly dye material. In this particular case, it's Parkel's Mach 2 and their Blue Moose material. That gives you a model in a matter of minutes so that you can fabricate your restoration. If you're doing a posterior tooth, this was an anterior application, but if you're doing a posterior tooth, you can actually articulate the model so that you can choose the proper crown form. And once you have decided on the crown shell that is going to fit appropriately onto the model, then what you'll do is go ahead and sandblast the crown form, the internal surfaces or any surface that you want to have polymerized, and you will paint your adhesive onto it, polymerize it, add your composite to it, and then place it back on your model, teasing it down so that it's seated completely, verifying that you have the model closed appropriately, and then cleaning any excess up. You'll polymerize it utilizing a strong either LED light or a halogen light, and then you'll take it off. Your assistants can polish it down and take it back to the mouth, and you'll have a crown in a matter of, I would say, maximum 25 minutes that the assistants would be at this. What I would like to show you here too is that the crown has a proprietary shape, but in that proprietary shape are some interproximal windows that are cut out, and that is a patented form for this crown shell. And what it allows us to do is, when we're creating our interproximal embrasures, this will allow us to vary our contacts, buccal lingually, occlusal gingivally, so we can get an exact emergence profile for this crown in a very simple application. The kit itself is devised of posterior and anterior kit, and in these two kits there are only 24 crown shells that will serve the entire arch forms. So maxillary, mandibular, anterior and posterior are involved in these 24 crown shells. I appreciate your time listening to this launch of a new product, and I hope that you'll find that using this DC2 product in your practice will be of benefit to you as much as it is to myself. Thank you.